Live from Connecticut's newsroom. Now, the news at 11.
This does not appear to be in any way an accident.
Chaos at the Capitol.
The Capitol Hill Police did direct us to run.
If you are outside of an office building, seek cover away from the area.
Tonight, we're learning more about the Connecticut woman fatally shot after a scary security stunt at the White House and Capitol.
I heard a series of loud pops, like a gun going off.
A few seconds later, there was what sounded like an explosion, but it may have been another accident.
The suspect was pronounced sometime later.
Good evening. That woman is from Stamford and has been identified as Miriam Carey. Sources tell Connecticut's newsroom she was a dental hygienist.
She was shot and killed by police. A 1-year-old child in the car with her was not injured. Police opened fire when Carey rammed her black Infiniti through a checkpoint near the White House, then led them on a high-speed chase through D.C. Witnesses say around a half-dozen shots were fired. 2 law enforcement officers were injured and are expected to be okay. At this point, police do not think Carey had a gun, and they are still not sure of her motive. In a matter of minutes, federal agents were storming an apartment building in Stamford looking for answers.
Since then, it's been a long waiting game. Fox Connecticut's Bo Berman has been at the Woodside Green condo complex where an FBI press conference just wrapped up. Bo.
Well, Brett, Allison, there's still a pretty heavy police presence here tonight. You can see behind me the flashing lights. A lot of officers here. We've seen fire trucks come by. This bomb squad was here earlier tonight. These police officers arrived at this apartment complex, the Woodside Green condo complex, that is, whenever they got a tip that the suspect had lived here. We've now confirmed that this is where she previously lived, inside one of these condo units here in this building. Tonight, just a moment ago, the Stamford police chief held a press conference. I want to bring you right now some of what he had to say.
We are right now making this building safe. At this point, we are awaiting a search warrant to go into an apartment. And until we get that search warrant and make that building safe, no one can go into the residence for the evening.
Now, Chief John Fontenot also told the media that there are 50, that's 50 residents still outside of their units at this hour, their condo units, that is, still waiting to go back inside. What's going on here is they're trying to make this building safe. They're trying to confirm that it's safe, and until they can go in the apartment, or the condo rather, of the suspect, they cannot confirm that it's safe, and until they get that warrant, they can't go in. And we talked to several residents at the beginning when this all developed, and tonight we bring you their story. From overhead, the police presence and pandemonium are clear. On the ground, lights, sirens, and policemen, all that could be seen as Eric Brado returned from work.
Chaos, shock, disbelief that this could happen in the building right next to you. It's unbelievable.
His complex door flung wide open as a police bomb squad was evacuating his building.
They said that it's a sensitive area. I have to run in. I have about 5-10 minutes to get all my stuff and get out for the next 8 or so hours. White House mandate, we have to evacuate the premises.
We overhear the cops speaking to themselves, saying that all this might be related to Washington, D.C., the shooting that happened with that lady.
But for hours, Woodside residents were stuck behind police tape, unsure how the commotion at their complex was connected to D.C. Only learning later that 34-year-old Miriam Carey had lived there. Krista Valentine says she lives in building 110 and believes Carey lived next door in 114.
One of my other neighbors said that they used to see her speed in here.
Residents we spoke with say they're alarmed that they could have seen the suspect or her car at the complex every single day or as recently as this morning.
This is a quiet complex, a lot of business people, young adults, young families, so it's quite a shock.
A surprise that someone capable of such chaos at the Capitol had been living so close.
I could have passed her on my way to my car this morning. I mean, that's scary.
Now, there are a total of 219 condo units here at Woodside Green. Again, police tell us that 50 residents are outside of their units tonight. They've been displaced while police and the FBI wait for that search warrant to come from Washington, D.C. So what they're doing is they're bringing the Red Cross here. They've already been called to help some of these residents while this could last throughout the night until they get that warrant. And unfortunately, police were not able to tell us any details on the motive of the suspect or officially confirm the name connected to, that the suspect's name is the one who lived in that apartment, although we've confirmed that through other sources. Reporting live tonight in Stamford, Bo Berman, Fox, Connecticut.
All right, thanks, Bo. Connecticut Senators Chris Murphy and Richard Blumenthal were on the Senate floor when today's incident began.
Murphy's chief of staff says shots were fired right outside his office. The senators didn't hear those shots and were locked down in the Senate chamber. Congresswoman Elizabeth Esty was also in Washington this afternoon. She released a statement praising the Capitol Police and thanking them for keeping her and her staff safe. An interesting side note, those police officers involved in today's chase and shooting are not earning a paycheck. While Capitol Police are considered part of essential services, they've not been paid for their work since Tuesday when the government shut down. In a rare moment of unity, Democrats and Republicans in the House gave them a standing ovation this afternoon. And of course, we will bring you the latest developments on the shooting on air and online at foxct.com. An adult and a young child in the hospital tonight after they were hit by a car in Stratford.
Fox Connecticut's Crystal Hall has reaction from people living on Barnum and Bruce Avenue.
Brent and Allison, we do not know if speed was a factor, but this accident has prompted neighbors to speak out about cars that drive too fast in this area.
A lot of school kids is over here, and it could have been me, it could have been anybody.
Neighbors near Barnum and Bruce Avenue in Stratford did not expect to come home and find this: crime tape, police officers, and blocked off streets. Stratford police say an adult and child were hit by this vehicle. Witnesses say it was a grandmother and a little girl who were struck. They describe hearing crying and seeing blood. Hours after the incident, police remained on scene reconstructing the accident, while worried neighbors looked on.
I am very alarmed. People speed down the street all the time.
Justina Hayes' doorstep is just feet away from the investigation.
It's a shame. I sometimes yell at the cars and, to like slow down. It's just not okay. There's a ton of kids that live on the street and it's scary.
Neighbors say more needs to be done to keep cars from driving fast and running through red lights.
To be honest with you, I think people probably should maybe, do a little more complaining. A lot of people see something, say something.
For hours, this pink stroller remained on the street near the scene until police finally removed it. It's the stroller the little girl was believed to have been in when she was hit. Neighbors hope this accident will put an end to speedy drivers. The two victims were taken to a hospital in Bridgeport. At this time, their condition is unknown. Reporting in Stratford, Crystal Hall, Fox, Connecticut.
Jury selection is expected to begin next month in the trial of a man accused of killing a Meriden convenience store owner last year. Frankie Resto rejected a plea deal today under which he would have served 40 years in prison. Police say surveillance video shows Frankie Resto entering the Easy Mart on East Main Street and holding up the owner, Ibrahim Ghazal. Ghazal was fatally shot after he handed over the cash. For the second time this week, burglars strike in West Hartford while the homeowners were present.
The latest happened last night on Auburn Road. Police say someone broke in and stole jewelry from an upstairs bedroom while the residents were downstairs watching TV. The burglary is the latest in a slew of residential and car break-ins over several months in neighborhoods around Walbridge and Ardmore Roads, Fern Street, and Asylum Avenue. This weekend, residents in Newtown will decide whether a $49 million state grant should be used to demolish the existing Sandy Hook school building and rebuild a new one on the same land. Saturday's referendum is from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m.
You know how they say cats have 9 lives? Well, after meeting this dog, I'm starting to rethink that. I'm Javon Vitale in Woodbury, and coming up, how this dog survived in a storm drain for 12 days. Coming up.
Blueback Square turned pink tonight, partying for a good cause next at 11.
Plus common ground, the federal government may not be hit with the double whammy on top of the ongoing shutdown. Here's hoping.
And we got a great stretch of dry weather. Some of you hoping for a little bit of rain. We'll have several chances for showers and perhaps even a soaking rain as we head into next week. We'll talk about it full forecast after the break.
West Hartford's Blueback Square turned pink tonight. Komen, Connecticut rang in Breast Cancer Awareness Month with a pink party that filled the city's shopping district with food, music, and of course the color pink. This second annual event honored those currently battling breast cancer, those who have lost the fight, and it also celebrated the lives of survivors.
It means a lot to me, having been a survivor for 5 years, my mother for 4 years, and this is just such a great event, and we appreciate the support of all the people here.
Fox Connecticut's Logan Burns and Lori Perez were at the celebration and emceed a fashion show featuring breast cancer survivors. A dog from Woodbury lucky to be alive tonight.
She was rescued this morning after being trapped in a storm drain for 12 days. Fox Connecticut's Javon Batal has the incredible story.
They say cats have 9 lives, but this Woodbury dog seems to have some tricks of her own. Her name is Puff, and this 12-year-old pooch just beat the odds by surviving 12 days in this storm drain. Puff wandered off from her owner, Cynthia Edgar, during a walk in a nearby brook.
It was very upsetting. I had hope for a day or two, and then after that, I thought something very bad had happened to her, and I had just about lost all hope that I would find her again.
Did a good job this morning.
But there was hope in the form of the people at this Chevrolet dealership on Main Street.
I could hear the dog. We were actually across the street. I could hear the dog through the drain on the other side of the street whimpering. And pretty unbelievable. So I came back inside, and at that point I called the Woodbury Police Department. They alerted Animal Control and got Public Works down here.
Several people tried to get into the storm drain to rescue Puff, but the terrified dog ran off from would-be rescuers. That is until Cynthia got a phone call.
It was one of those times you're never going to forget how you felt and where you were. I couldn't believe it. I had tears of joy. I'd been crying all week because I missed her, and I was so grateful that she'd been found. I was so very happy.
Cynthia rushed down to the scene and gave Puff a call, and the dog came running down the drain under the street, where she was hoisted out and into safety. And while everyone is happy that Puff is back and seems to be in one piece, there's one small thing that's going to be changing, and that's this leash won't be going very far.
I'm so grateful. I'm a spiritual person, and I think God was looking out for her. So I'm so very happy to have her back.
In Woodbury, Javon Batal, Fox, Connecticut.
Watches and tropical storm warnings are in effect along parts of the Gulf Coast. Tropical storm Karen is expected to reach hurricane strength by tomorrow. Federal emergency workers who have been furloughed because of the government shutdown are heading back to work to prepare. Rachel Frank is keeping her eye on things. Rach.
Brent, you said it, the National Hurricane Center is expecting Karen to become a hurricane tomorrow, but weakening slightly before making landfall, likely as a tropical storm, but it may be a very strong tropical storm. Now, Karen does not look very much like any organized tropical system. You're not seeing that clearly defined eye. And the center of the storm, this isn't a mistake, the center of the storm is so far to the south and the west of all of this convection, all of the thunderstorms, that you can really tell it's getting beat up by some strong upper level winds. Now, those winds will diminish as the storm continues to move into the Gulf, and that's when we'll have to keep an eye on some possible strengthening. But right now, Karen still has winds of 65 miles per hour, moving very slowly. I mean, I know it looks close to landfall, but that wouldn't happen anytime soon, probably not until Saturday night, Sunday morning. What you're looking at is our spaghetti plots. I know that you've seen these before. Each of these lines represent a different computer model, and you can see a cluster of them in agreement with a landfall between the panhandle of Florida and around Mobile, Alabama. And again, that could be as a strong tropical storm. After that point, this storm, or basically all of the computer models, agree that what's left over of Karen is going to move northeast. Now, we would not see any winds around here, but we could get some moisture and perhaps even some heavier rainfall, but that would not be until Monday or Tuesday of next week. For now, our forecast details call for, well, maybe the chance for a few passing showers, kind of the nuisance variety as we head through the weekend. All right, 58 degrees currently in Hartford, low 60s in Chester, still hanging on to the upper 60s though in Bridgeport. Clouds slowly starting to move in. Right now they're fairly high and thin, but they will lower and thicken up a little bit as this frontal boundary approaches. I don't think it's a cloudy day tomorrow, and it may not even be a cloudy start, but we'll certainly see a lot more around than we had around lately. Not quite as dazzling and sunny as it has been. Back behind this front, cooler air is lurking, and you're seeing snow back there in the northern Rockies. This front will eventually pick up some of that moisture that's left over from Karen and bring it in our direction. So tomorrow morning, mostly cloudy, chance for a passing shower. And again, you may see a peek or two of sun from time to time. Consider it a bonus. I think we'll see more sunshine around on Saturday, although not as sunny as it was today either. Mid and upper 50s for tonight. For the day tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a shower or two. We'll say becoming mostly cloudy. And your Fox Connecticut 7-day forecast. Clouds, chance for an isolated shower early on Saturday. The rest of the day will be a mix of sun and clouds, and also a chance for a shower in spots on Sunday. Most of us are going to stay bone dry. Highs will be in the upper 70s, so really the weekend isn't bad if you want to go check out some of the fall foliage. Heavier rain is possible from Monday into the first part of Tuesday.
How bad is it going to be tomorrow?
Tomorrow? No, it's not going to be bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm breaking it down for you.
All right, cool. I just want to make sure it's
going for a rain.
Bad.
A run? Not a rain.
Yes, she knows. That's
Freudian slip.
Yes, I'm going for a rain in the run. Thanks, Rach.
Yep.
A potential breakthrough in Washington tonight that has Democrats cheering for, are you ready for this? John Boehner. The political progress next at 11.
These Bigfoot believers say Sasquatch is real, and they've seen him. How they're trying to find him again, coming up.
He's willing to let federal employees be furloughed in a partial government shutdown, but House Speaker John Boehner says he won't let the lights go out in Washington.
Tonight, he told a group of fellow GOP legislators that he will rely on Democrats to pass a measure to raise the nation's debt limit later this month to avoid defaulting. In exactly 2 weeks, the government will run out of money to cover its roughly $16.7 trillion in debt. Meanwhile, we're at the end of the third day of the government shutdown, and lawmakers in Washington are no closer to reaching an agreement.
So far, the only spending bills passed by Republicans include controversial changes to Obamacare, a non-starter for Senate Democrats and the president.
The bill is passed.
Today, the House continued its strategy of passing individual funding bills to ensure veterans receive their benefits and to fund the National Guard and reserves.
We told you last night 2,000 Sikorsky aircraft employees in Stratford will be furloughed on Monday because of the shutdown. Well, if the shutdown goes into the next week, its parent company, United Technologies, will send home another 2,000 workers.
Dozens are dead and more than 200 missing after a boat caught fire and went down off the Italian island of Lampedusa. There were as many as 500 people on board carrying migrants from Africa. At least 150 survivors have been taken to a main port. Lampedusa is not far from Sicily and the closest Italian island to Africa. It's become a destination for tens of thousands of refugees seeking to enter European Union countries. Swarms of aggressive hornets have killed dozens of people in China and injured more than 1,600 since July.
37 people stung or in critical condition right now. Crews in protective clothing are spraying and setting fire to the nest to help remove and destroy them. Officials say the unusually dry weather may be to blame. Those conditions make it easier for hornets to breed. Whether you're a believer or not, there is a new project underway to find Bigfoot.
Yeah, the Sasquatch Genome Project launched this week. It's made up of people from across the country who claim to have encountered the creature. The group also revealed never-before-seen close-up video of the beast. They say their personal encounters made them believers.
We've all had experiences that have changed our lives. And you say, well, there's got to be more to this subject than just a myth.
This large print was taken in the Rocky Mountains. The videos were taken in Kentucky and other places around the country. The group is also working on a Bigfoot documentary.
What would New York be without it? Next in our business report, the most iconic toy store in the nation could be on the move. FAO Schwarz may be moving. Realtors say it's looking to leave its flagship store on Fifth Avenue. FAO Schwarz was founded in 1862. It is the oldest toy store in the United States. It moved to its current location nearly 30 years ago. It had been across the street. FAO is a major tourist attraction and one of the world's most expensive retail corridors. Its parent company is Toys R Us.
Well, Tyler Olander was arrested 3 times within a span of 6 months.
but he has been reinstated to the UConn men's basketball team. Now, to be fair, while Olander pleaded guilty to driving without a license last month, breathalyzer tests showed he was not legally drunk. In a statement released by UConn head coach Kevin Ollie, he said, "Tyler has demonstrated to me an added level of responsibility and maturity. His time management has been outstanding. His academic work has been excellent. We have spoken at length, and I thought it was time that he be given the chance to rejoin his teammates." NFL Thursday night action, fourth quarter. Cleveland leads Buffalo by a field goal. On the ice, the season opener for the Bruins. Claude Julien and company opening up against the Lightning. The Bees' first goal of the year coming on a first period shorthanded penalty shot by Chris Kelly. Nice way to start. It was 2-1 Boston in the third. Again, they were down a man off the odd man rush. Great move by Patrice Bergeron, a little curl and drag. Two shorties, 32 saves from Tuukka Rask. Bees win their opener 3-1. Rangers playing out in Phoenix early in the second period. They trail the Coyotes by the score of 1-0. That's sports in 61 seconds. I'm Rich Capola. As far as Arsenio, let's go right to the man himself.
Good stuff tonight. Dancing with the Stars, Bill Nye the Science Guy is here. Plus, actress Vivica A. Fox and Billy Ray Cyrus joins us. Apparently his daughter's been in the news or something. What's that about? Moments away. Hey, Cleveland. How y'all doing?
Well, forget about driving across a bridge, through a tunnel, or even taking the ferry. A California man has come up with a way to bike across water.
Judah Schiller became the first person to bike across the Hudson River today. He started in Hoboken and arrived in Manhattan about 15 minutes later. So how does this thing work? Well, you can see it. The bike sits on rafts, and the pedals drive a propeller, which pushes the raft slowly into motion. It makes it.
When there are waves, it absolutely gets a lot more fun, because that's when you go from like road biking on glassy waters to going up and over waves, and then it becomes like mountain biking. This is absolutely a viable form of transportation, and one where you burn a few calories doing it as well.
If you have 15 minutes to get from Hoboken to Manhattan, I guess. Schiller hopes to one day see a virtual bike lane on the Hudson.
Nice. Wouldn't that be awesome to see all those guys in suits on their bikes coming from Hoboken to go to work downtown?
Slowly making their way across the Hudson.
That'd be awesome.
Well, as I told Allison earlier, not bad tomorrow, whether you're going on a ferry, taking a bike ride across the water. Temperatures will start off in the 50s to around 60. We'll see mostly cloudy skies, at least turning that way with the chance for a passing shower or two. That's about it. Not bad.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Rach. And that's going to do it for us. Thanks for joining.
Arsenio Hall's next.